Gun defenses, let's start with the fact that every time you see a gun, assume it's loaded. Even though, from what I've gathered from various sources, about half the time they say it isn't. But you don't know which half is which, so assume it's loaded. The second thing, guns are easier to defend because they only operate in one direction. Unlike a knife, which can go multiple directions. So that's an important thing to keep in mind. Okay. The next thing is it's important for you to not be in the direction the gun is pointing. I've seen a lot of techniques where they use their hands and redirect the gun, leaving the body where the gun was pointing. And that means you've got to be exceptionally fast with the hands to do that. Okay. How may I use you? I want you to focus on what I'm doing here. This rotation of the gun makes his hand tighter. You feel it tightening? This rotation of the gun opens his hand. I prefer this rotation. What position it's in when you do that rotation, there's a wide variety of them. But I've seen a lot where they direct the gun down here and now try to turn it into the body, hoping the guy will loosen up. If I'm directing it down, one of my biggest fears is that this guy is smart enough to bring his other hand up. And as soon as he does, now I'm fighting for that instant. The Krav people have this term called RCAT, where they direct it to the side, and they pop this guy about 3 times, thinking they've loosened him up, and then take it away and back out. It works for them. They practice it millions of times. If you've practiced it millions of times, it may work for you. The danger is the average person doesn't practice it enough. So, do you like that technique? I don't know. Let's grab a gun and try it, and see if you like what Krav does first. And then I'll show you what I do. Okay? So, okay. If we go back to the rotations I was talking about, if his finger's in the trigger, and I'll be gentle, if I turn it this way, he can still squeeze that finger. The gun is going off. Okay? The FBI and those groups say the gun will go off 90% of the time, or the trigger will get squeezed 90% of the time. And the time they hear just a click, they know that's one of the times that the gun probably wasn't loaded. The tendency when I rotate this way is not for the finger to squeeze shut. Okay? So if I go this way with it, finger will probably squeeze. This way, my chances of it squeezing are much less.
You should try it. Your finger feels very different.
Okay.
When you're this way.
So just work with a guy and get the feel for yourself of what happens when I turn both directions. Okay? Try that. The natural thing here is this.
It pulls right into the trigger pull.
This way, if my finger's in there, it's pulling away from the trigger pull. Byron was pointing out, when I go this way, that finger tends to slide through. And this is an improper way to squeeze a trigger anyway. I guess I should have pointed that out also. But if your end of your finger is on the trigger, you go this way, your end of the finger stays on the trigger. And that's probably the reason it works easier.
Also, squeezing is a tightening motion.
Yeah.
And this, as Sensei was saying, is a tightening motion in this direction. So everything is tightening down in here. Yeah. This is a loosening motion, but you've got to tighten, so you're countering what the rest of your hand and wrist is doing with the finger, and that's hard to do.
Who's done this? Okay, so let's look at the Krav technique, where they're directing it to the side, but let's turn the gun down. Take it over and down. Now I can make the rotation I like, and it comes right out much easier. Okay, instead of just taking it sideways and controlling the wrist, I want to control the gun by getting on the back of the hand. And there's the rotation. Okay, try that. Yes. Okay? And be aware of this when you're teaching. I just changed your focus from what the crowd of people were doing. So as I directed over, I can still pop him. The gun's still going to be there because I'm going to keep control of the hand. Okay? Their term, the acronym that they use is RCAT. Stands for redirect, control, pop, 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 attack, attack, attack. They like to have the 3 A's in there, and then take away. Okay? You don't need to be in a hurry to take away as long as you're controlling if you want to do something else. You know, some people may want to direct it up and come into some kind of takedown. I don't know that I want to engage the person. I want to get the gun in my control and away from the person as quickly as possible. Others like to engage. That's going to be your mindset and what you practice. Okay? Now, the other thing is that a real gun? What do you want? What do you want? I look like I'm afraid, right? As I'm discussing this with him, what's he now concentrating on? He's concentrating on my voice. My wallet's over there. Okay? He didn't think about shooting me for the second that he was listening to my discussion. Okay? He would have shot me at this distance, and then come and take. But he's here to intimidate me.
If I intended to kill you, I would hold in my left hand.
Yeah. At this distance, you're cooperating. You know, no, maybe, please don't shoot me. Maybe you can sneak in. I don't know. But at this distance, not safe to do anything. Okay, and that's a good point. Okay, but he still may bring that other hand up because he wants the gun back in his control. Here's where I probably wouldn't engage with the attacks. I would direct down and as quickly as possible peel that gun. But I don't like taking the gun to his other hand. A lot of techniques that I see do that. This is going to be a personal decision on your part as to whether you like going that direction. I prefer doing the same. Yeah, please, my wallet's over there. Take the gun out. There's my peel. That's the one I like. And when I take it out, I don't go for the wrist. I grab the gun. I've heard the people say, oh, if the gun goes off, it's going to recycle. No, the gun's going to jam. It is, you know, I've had quite a few people from the highway patrol. I haven't experienced it myself. They swear that if you grab in the recycling process, the recycling stops even though there is a heavy spring there. There may be a little bit of powder burn, but I've got control of the gun. And I want to rotate, put your finger in just slightly. I want to rotate into the bone so that I have the finger. Okay? If I grab and push in a little bit, I may have taken it out of battery. Again, notice I said may have taken it out of battery. The gun still may go off, but it's going over there. Okay? So what I want you to try is this rotation and a curl towards him. Taking the gun away. Try it. This hand is attached to this elbow, which is attached to this shoulder, which is attached to this body. That caused my hand to operate separate from my body. So if I'm going to go that way, why not rotate in? It's harder for him to reach across now to get to the gun, and if I rotate into him some more, I'm doing it with my body movement. Hand on the gun, rotate the body. But we're going to do it at the same time. Notice my hand didn't move. My hand didn't move. My hand will go where my body goes. All jiu-jitsu techniques, your hand will go where your body goes. Okay? Try that. and close the distance. Distance is not your friend here. But I don't know that I have ever said to people to do it. You know, looking what you're doing, how about look where the bullet's going to go? If I'm doing this, there's where the bullet's going to go probably. Okay, where do I want the bullet to go? Let's say look where you want the bullet to go, because you know the bullet's in his control right now. Where do I want the bullet to go? There's gives me the rotation I want. Okay, instead of looking at what you're doing, because I notice a lot of you concentrating on what the hands are doing. I don't concentrate on the hands, it's the body. Look where the bullet's going to go. Try that a couple more times. Law enforcement are probably going to be here, down at the side. What if the guy's here? Go ahead.
You want me to do that move there?
Do the one I was just teaching.
No, no, no.
Okay, go the other way. Now.
No, no.
Okay, what's this bottom hand doing?
Cradling.
It's cradling. Gives me a base. Shooters aren't concerned about keeping you from taking away the gun. They're concerned about shooting you, using it as a weapon. If I'm squeezing God's death grip on this gun so that it can't be taken away, I'm also locking this finger so I can't squeeze the trigger. Okay, so the second hand comes up. Try it. Second hand comes up, cradles the gun. Try doing that rotation. Trigger.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
See?
I cheated, didn't I?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because it's still...
Give me that grip a second. Okay, as I come over, if
I do target, like I'm shooting down range at a target,
Yeah.
I'm really supporting.
if I stay out here, he starts getting more control. If I collapse in,
Ah, yes. Just twist it on its base. Right?
yep.
That was my. Yeah.
Watch what his reaction is when I do this. What do your hands do?
Tight.
Tighten. I didn't give him a whole lot to resist. I am close enough. I never bring the hands up here. Okay? Look at the distance I have to go now to make that. Keep the hands here. You know, cower. Even in front, just get it off to the side. Nice, gentle movement. The harder you go, the quicker he reacts to it. Okay? Just like when I'm coming. No, what's going to say? I'm coming in to attack him like a grab. At the point he grabs me back, we have a fight. If I just flow into it, I'm going to be gone. Use that same concept from Jiu-Jitsu with the gun. Get it out of the way. Okay? We developed a terminology from our Kenjutsu. Curl, curl. Hear the feet? Try it. Here there are a lot of gangs in the LA area. They've been watching this in Hollywood. Which way am I rotating? This way? Which way do I rotate? Same way. Same way in the hand. Try it. Give them the gang thing. It's just a different perspective. He's giving me downward slope. So I'm probably going to take him up a little bit. Make sure my body is helping drive it up. Okay. It's only high there if I stay back there, but it's not if I close in. Yeah. And if he's 7 foot tall, then I would probably come in.
Okay.
Which actually causes him to bend, which brings the gun down. Yeah. Boom. Brings the gun down. Okay. You're going to control me with your hand. Now, do I know where the gun is? Oh yeah, I do. He's got it in my back. What's he going to do? If he grabs me, he's going to make... Right way? Can you see where the gun is? Okay. He's going to take me somewhere. This is the one, I'm going to say this is like the gun in the ear, as Ben Bergworth says. I don't have much choices here. I've trapped the gun in, okay? I may have to do something different with him. But notice the rotation. I know where the gun is. Rotate in, trap it. Fight him here.
I'm losing my shoulder.
I'm losing the mic again. Okay? Double weave geese. And especially if he says, go, okay, I'm going to go. At some point, it becomes easier. We both have to fight now for this gun. But it's not pointed at me right now. Okay? Try it. Try that technique. Hand to control one shoulder, rotate in with the elbow, come up and lock that arm in. Try it. I want to own the gun. Okay? I want the gun in my control. Taking him to the ground with some throw while he's still got control of the gun is going to be my luck that he still has control of the gun when he hits the ground and gets to squeeze the trigger. So in this scenario, I've trapped his arm. I'm going to come across his head. He doesn't like me coming across his head. I may have to swap hands now to get the gun. But control the gun. Get the gun. He doesn't like that elbow in his face. I've got both arms right now. I can forward to release the hand. There's my rotation. Okay? For this technique, for today, get control of the gun. Okay?
What do I do?
Take me for a walk. He's got me in motion. It becomes so much easier. Okay, just like in your throws. From static, they're hard. Try it. Take a couple steps. Julian. You know, what happens when he puts the gun higher? Put it... I don't care. But, you know, he's telling me where the gun is. Okay? Do I want to go this way? Or do I want to go this way? He's told me where the gun is. Whichever way I choose to go is correct, as long as I do it in one motion. Okay? I would still personally prefer going outside. Where's the gun pointing? Here, I'm not getting to the gun very quickly, so here I may have to switch my technique and do some knees or something. But I'm locking up those arms. Okay? Try the gun in a different position one or two times, and then we'll go on to something else. In whatever art, whatever procedure, gun, knife, fist, kick, throw, is not enough. You know, one of the things that Professor Green said to me one time when I was asking about something about how much practice, he said, what you're doing, you started a life insurance policy. Policies are only good as long as you pay the price. The price here is practice. All over and over and over and over again. And you're going to have to start playing with variations. You know, Hal tricked me here a second ago. I was assuming he was being honest. Okay? But what do you do? Can you see what's going on?
Give me your money.
Bang.
Boom, boom, boom.
Do you know what's back there? What did I do wrong? I made an assumption. Okay? Please, mister. Oh, the gun's over there. I've got enough peripheral vision, but I'm talking to him. You know, that distraction that I talked about, you don't emphasize it enough because we're worried more about technique, but you've got to practice that distraction. Now, one of the things I used to tell the girls that were on the volleyball team, when we're playing a game, there's not a whole lot I can tell you that's going to improve what we're doing. You play what you practice. Okay? You play what you practice. So, Here's the gun. Please, mister, I got 18 wives and 19 children and blah, blah, blah. And what time is it? Oh, by the way, do you know safety's on? In that time, I got some feel for where the gun was. That it wasn't just a finger in the back. You know, looking over here talking to him, I can see that the gun must be over in that hand. You can get enough turn of the head. Try it. Just get a feel for it. You know. Okay. I've got the one hand. Gun's in my back. I've got two directions I can rotate. I've strapped the gun. Might have to pop it. Keep turning.
Do you have a hammer?
Yeah. Did you notice how I kept rotating? I see he's got a hand down. My hands came high. Brought it to my side. Hands came high. Oh. Okay, now we'll hit him. I still got the gun, right? Okay. Gun in the back. You've got to figure out what's going on. If he's got a hand and a gun on you, the grab, he's telling you where it's at. But now, let's review a little bit here. Distract. Okay? Practice the distract. That's the part we didn't do a lot of. Oh, please, mister, please. Pretend you're afraid. Practice being afraid. Practice, get in the mirror. Do I look afraid? Do I look afraid? Two different. Never out here. You know, he puts the gun in front of me. He hasn't told me anything. Why am I going to put my hands up here? So that he can see a big long motion when I go to take it away? He hasn't told me anything. What do you want? What do you want? You know your safety's not on? See the distraction? Whatever your little line of jibber jabber is, practice it. You know, what's the first thing we do in CPR? Anybody taking CPR?
Yes.
What's the first thing I do loudly?
Are you okay?
Are you okay? You know, as soon as we're anywhere and I yell, "Are you okay?" somebody's going to stop and look to see who's making the noise. Get that out there. What's the second thing we're going to do?
Assess. Check for breathing.
No, I'm not.
EMS, call 911, you get the AED.
Let's go back to the gun. I distracted. What's the next thing? Next letter I need to remember. Begins with an R. Redirect. Get that gun so it's not pointing at you. Okay? What's the next thing? It begins with a C. It's what you ultimately want. Control. Control the gun. If you feel so compelled, attack. I'm telling you that's not a necessary everything. Crowd people will tell you it's attack, attack, attack. They like attack. They're military style. Military's attack. It works for them. I don't know that you need to attack all the time. Do you have any feelings on that?
Depending on the situation I'm in,
Yeah.
I may not be able to get the weapon right away, and if I have the attack opportunity, I will attack it. Usually I would go, I can establish control of the weapon. My main concern is controlling the weapon, not the attacker. And if I can control the weapon, then I don't need to attack. If I can't control the weapon, I need the attack as a distraction.
Yeah. That's going to be my thinking too. I want to control the weapon, and now I want to take it away as soon as possible. So the attack I'm going to put in quotation marks. I may need to do it. I may be able to take it away without the attack. That's a situational situation or issue that's going to come up, and you're going to decide how do I want to proceed with that. You know, if I turn around and I find that I'm on the inside of this guy, That attack kind of flows very nicely. And then I can come around if I want to, get the gun, after I've done sufficient damage, take it away from him. Okay? If I've done the same rotation and I went outside, I may not need the attack. I may be able to slide down, kill the gun, and I've got it. Okay? Again, situational awareness of what's going on is very important. Any other questions? Oh, one thing. Long gun. Redirect, curl. The same move will take a long gun away. And if you don't believe me, there's a great video of a guy with a sawed-off shotgun, one-handed, attacking some unsuspected person. Well, the guy wasn't really unsuspected. He was very knowledgeable. And the guy had the gun, and the guy who first had the gun is now running like crazy. Because this guy has rechambered around. He didn't know whether it was around in there. He had the chunk of the shotgun, and he's ready to fire. Take the weapon away from him. I don't know if there was a bullet in it. If it went off, did I jam it? Rechamber it. Make the weapon now viable. Okay? If you can convince him not to run away from you, get the cell phone out and call the police. And when they arrive, make sure you surrender the weapon. Don't stand there with it in your hand, because you may be the one that gets shot first.
You're the danger.
You're the danger when the cops come. Yeah.
Ferguson, Missouri.
Yeah.
Don't be in Ferguson, Missouri.
Yeah. Anything else you can think of?
No, it's just a matter of practice.
Yeah.
And like everything else, as you could sense from what Sensei is saying, life is what happens while you're making other plans. So after you get that turn and you seek to get that control, the situation may differ each and every time. So you have to practice. So you're used to assessing that situation as it comes as to what your best option is. Because one time, the gun may be in this hand and it turns this way, so that may be a different situation. Another time, maybe here, or he may turn a different way. Who knows? Or even from the front, as he goes to take it away, I may step like this, so he's going to
Now I've got more distance. I've got to continue more in.
So everything will change, and you just have to keep practicing. Like the multiple assailants yesterday, fine, you co-opt one to commit, but then things change. So exactly what can you do to make it work? It's going to differ every time. So that's why you need to practice, because it's all going to differ.
Yeah. And practice slowly. Practice making the rotation, moving. You're in a dojo. There's no danger really, except maybe the guy striking you with that rubber gun. Practice it slowly. Somebody explained to me in brain theory, if I do something slowly, my brain records it like 1,000,000 miles an hour. If I do something fast, my brain may go, huh? Okay, practice it slowly. Speed comes from being able to do the motion. And none of you are going to get faster than you are today. You might. How old are you? 32. Oh, no. And you won't either. But
it's sad to know that you're over the hill, Paul.
yeah. Someone once explained to me that this is my speed. This is how fast I can do the technique. What I hope to do is improve my ability to do the technique to come up to what my speed. Because with age, this is what happens to my speed. But if I can get my technique up almost to my natural speed, it'll be pretty good. And I'm practicing to do it 100%. So when the time happens, 75% will probably be pretty good. But if I practice to do it 75%, when the time comes, I'm probably going to be doing it at about 35%. 35 is failure. Okay? Sensei?